Brown entertains a motion. All in favor?
Let's do it.
Next on the agenda would be an opportunity initiative request by Rob Barfus, dealing with the discussions with him a couple of weeks ago, or last week, I guess, on the wrestling and how much we would possibly donate. He has provided quite a bit more as far as the cost of different things. The discussion is how much do we have in our
Mr.
kitty and how much can we give to them? Yeah, Madam Mayor.
First of all, the amount we have is 1,800. 1,700 today.
He's requesting two, is that
Yeah,
correct?
that's right. But there is still
500.
something I'm wondering. Does his debriefing or a little bit of extra detail satisfy the policy in a sense that the policy is very much focusing on the use of that $1,700, if that's what we were to give him? It's not overall, it's strictly how is he going to use that and put a business plan forward the second year, the third year, etc. And I'm not so sure that that is truly there. But the amount of money is really small. But it's a question of being true to the policy.
If I might, Mr.
Yes.
Chairman. It's why I put our email string. Our email string was maybe a little more casual than I'm comfortable with putting in a package.
Yeah.
But I put it in there to show that I kind of inquired and said, hey, how about just specifically the tournament? And he said, well, I'm struggling with that because
Yeah.
the mats are this key component to being able to do it at all.
That's right.
And they lead to the sustainability of the event. And so in his mind, you couldn't really part them out very well. And I can see where he's coming from. I mean, they're integral to being able to host the event. And this is what it would go towards. So I agree with you, Mayor. It's probably not the textbook
No.
pro forma for the policy, but it's
I
what
mean,
you have.
it's the intent of the law or the letter of the law.
Yeah.
And maybe this time we have to go with the intent of the law rather than the law as it is written. Because I don't know if we go according to the letter of the law, I don't know that what he has presented fits. So I was thinking, okay, we as council understand that it is a good thing what he's trying to do, but then would it be easier than to be put under donation, under a different type of formula rather than the economic development?
That was kind of my thought as well, is this fit into the policy. How often have we done this with sporting teams coming out of the high school?
So on your under your donation policy, you don't donate to
More than
sporting teams. Generally, they're usually looking for money for travel, not normally
Like
infrastructure.
the financial club from last year, yeah.
Yeah, for example. But I think I see, where Mr. Barfus is coming from here, that he's hoping to hold an event of some considerable size.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is reoccurring with
Yeah.
I mean, he was talking pushing 1,000
Yeah.
people for the event. So it's something.
So is there something else? Oh, I'm so sorry.
Finish, wrap it up.
Finish your.
You're good.
Now, I'm just wondering, so we have that policy, we have the donation policy. Is there not something else where we have a discretion to allow an event like that to happen?
So not specifically budgeted, but you wield the power in your resolution to do so,
that's
right?
what I was wondering.
Councillor Brown. Yeah,
Good.
too many bees around.
Okay. So I support this. My question actually rolled back to what our deputy mayor said, and that was the whole when the high school stock
Yeah, their
trading
finance
bonds,
club,
finance
yeah.
club, when they came, the money that we gave them, was that out of the same pot?
It was not Opportunities Initiative, no.
And what was it out of?
We have some
Yes.
general donation funds. We have just we call it our grants general account.
And in that little honey pot, we have
There's
how
only
much?
a couple $1,000s in that, yeah.
This
So
is, sorry.
Sorry, so I guess my question would be, so would that little honey pot fit better with this than, say, because the mayor is
policy.
struggling with this policy.
Right.
I'm just wondering, would that not fit that better?
I can sleep fine either way.
Okay,
And what I
else
mean
do we
is,
have that? Let us
if
add
the
to
intent
that.
is this works, my opinion only.
Yes.
If this is working towards hosting an event of substance annually in the community,
this is-
I think you've met the intent of the Opportunities Initiative policy.
Then I support
Because
it
we
completely.
are tied to this for 5 years.
All right.
So, but actually, the policy specifically says the funding is not guaranteed for 5 years. It is a decree, it is a graduated scale that we plan for, but if
Apply
something were to
every
come
year.
up where we say, hey, the event didn't happen, or the event isn't going to happen again, we're out.
Right, okay.
We're out at our discretion.
So it has to.
Bengry.
Jeff, I know it was really difficult to come up with a balanced budget. So my next question is, what Paul or what Peter were you gonna rob from to pay Paul?
Your reserves. We always, well, we don't always, we often use the transfer to reserves to balance the budget. And you transfer as much as you can, and we take from it if something else is a higher priority.
Okay.
So secondary to my question, excuse me, Mayor, but secondary to my question then, do we as a council need to increase our policy and the amount that's in there? Because this is not gonna be number one and only one.
Well, Councillor Court, if I might?
Sure.
Interesting question, because we just reduced the overall amount in the Opportunity Initiative
know.
policy because of lack of requests. We haven't had requests on it for a number of years.
Now we have two of them.
And, well, the one is on its 5th year.
Right.
So the one's on its last graduated year. And then we had this one of some significance in dollars too. This isn't a $400, $500 request, right? It's substantial. So we literally have just reduced that 2 years ago because we were budgeting 5,000 every year and expending 1,000. So that's why there's only 1,700. Now, could that be 3,500 by mill rate time? Sure, it could. It'd just be a request to council to change it.
Okay, so that goes along with what Jeff just finished saying. What I'm wondering, in order to satisfy this request, in his budget, he views it as $2,000. We have 1,700. So how do we make up the difference at this time if if council is willing to give 2,000? If council is willing to give 1,700, we have the money out of that initiative. If council wants to give 2,000, then he has to make we have to make adjustment.
That's where it would come from reserves.
And again, for $300, there's a multitude of
Yeah,
places I
yeah,
could find that for
I was
you.
going to say, so,
Okay. We had a presentation for a theater group. They came with a request for $2,000 or $3,000, and we settled on $1,000, didn't we?
You did not fund that.
We didn't fund it at all.
Turned it down.
It didn't meet the criteria. Is that what we're saying? Okay.
It can rejected, total.
Okay.
Yeah, there was no funding there.
Okay.
So
All right. Where does this one sit compared to that one? I'm just trying to figure that one out. I mean, they brought in people from out of town. They had a sellout audience that night. I don't know how much they made or anything, whether they did, or they balanced out and made any money, but I know they're going forward again this year. They haven't come to us for any money.
So fair question, why do we donate to this one but not to that one?
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm coming from, where our justification is on that,
Okay.
but I really love this idea. I think it's great. I think it's a great thing, and I want to be able to give them some, and I think where the mayor's concern is too, yeah, we dropped it down because we didn't have many requests. So we dropped it down thinking we weren't going to get any more, but now here we are all of a sudden getting more requests. We maybe just need to adjust the money into that pot.
Or leave it like the snow fund. Sometimes we use all of our snow, sometimes we don't.
Yeah,
And then adjust it.
and I think that we just need to leave it there, and add to it as needed to keep it at a certain level.
Councillor
So
Brown.
we don't have this quandary.
So to answer your question,
Mm-hmm.
my personal opinion is that's the beauty of having council, is that people come to us with their requests.
Yeah.
We either like them and we support them.
You mean
or
you
we
like the
shut them.
idea, not them?
We like what they're
Concept, yeah.
pitching,
Yeah,
or we don't.
yeah.
And if we like them, if we like
The
what they're
idea.
Business
pitching,
plan.
Yeah.
then we go ahead and we support them. We figure out a way in which to do that. In this, the reason I would support this over not supporting the theater group that came previously is I support this because there is no other wrestling group in town.
Yes.
And this is a starting of something that is phenomenal for
okay.
youth. Not that the other one isn't,
Yeah.
but I see this one as fabulous.
Yeah.
And the other one, when it was presented, I saw it as something that we already have.
Yeah.
That's to me is the difference.
Yeah.
Okay, I will make a recommendation to council that we support the $2,000 donation for the wrestling event, Gadsden High School wrestling event. Money to come out of the Opportunity Initiative and topped up with funds that administration can
Find.
be
The grant funding.
It's the honey pond.
can be deciding upon.
Can we vote on that? No.
I want to add to that. Maybe we need to change that policy to add some money into that so we don't have to run into this down the
Well,
road.
at mill rate, we
But
can
we'll
do
do
it.
that and then make a
We
second
don't need to
motion, I guess,
When we
a
get to-
recommendation. I'd like to make a recommendation after this.
Do you want to add that to her? This is not a,
Just do the one.
I think they should be separate.
Yes.
yeah, we're
absolutely.
CCW, so yeah. Supporting that idea? All in favor? Okay, then 2,000 is,
Now I'd like to make a recommendation that we change the amount of money going into this. I think maybe we were at $5,000 before. Maybe we should go to the $3,500. And then we have a little more room to work with people on this.
In regards to your recommendation, Councillor Barnes, could we hold off till our next budget process?
Well, that's a whole year down the road.
But do we need to do it right now, or do we need to
I'll get another
worry?
request.
Yeah,
As
what
per
I'm saying.
request,
as per request, maybe we should review it.
I don't have a problem with that suggestion.
Okay.
So you withdraw your recommendation?
I'll withdraw, yeah, and then
Thank
we'll
you.
look at it as it comes forward.
Okay.
Any more
But if it
comments?
does come forward, I will make the recommendation again
Okay.
at that point in
All right.
time.
Any more comments on that? If not, we'll move on to
Thank you.
strategic priorities.
Thank you.
Anything you'd like to ask on safety and security, the bylaw? Which question are we talking about with bylaw number, and it says number 1, some items be discussed, because that'll go to closed session then.
It's just, I have that on there, that when we've been talking about unsightly, some of them, if we foresee a legal issue, we've taken them into closed session.
So we need to go to closed
I
session.
don't have one.
You don't
for
have
this,
one,
no,
good,
but
okay.
Just if we do.
Recreation, I guess, what I would like to know, Councillor Brown, is do we have a meeting set up for the recreation facility?
So this is where it's at. The Randy Russell sent out an email to all of the board. We have picked a date.
Good.
I'm not going to bring it up right now because the board hasn't all gotten back and agreed on the date yet, but the date will be set in March. We've also got a meeting set up, or we've got information that's being compiled to bring to council before, of course, that happens. It should be happening in the next, I would, by the end of this month, we will be giving the pitch to this council on what the project, what we're looking at, all of the information, and going from there. We've also got a meeting right before the open house with the seniors. We will be going to the seniors luncheon. We've already booked it with them, and because we want to make sure that we're hitting people of all ages, and sometimes seniors have a tough time coming out at night, which is when we're looking at having our open house. And so we've already got that meeting set. So Councillor Selk and myself and possibly Randy Russell would be going to that meeting, giving the pitch to them a few days prior to our open house.
I do believe it's critical that we get as many
Agreed.
people in town on this thing.
So
Either one opinion or the other, that we need to know, not just 30 people making that decision.
So-
I'd like to see a meeting of about 300 or 400 people, but
So advertising, we've already talked
crazy.
about that.
Yeah.
It's going to be blitzed.
good.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Anything on solar, intermunicipal government, economic development?
I have a question for our CEO. Jeff, this Thursday night, I have the annual meeting for Levitt Irrigation. Is there anything that I need to take to that meeting?
I don't think so, no. They engaged us a while ago about helping fund some expansions to the lateral K, but I haven't heard anything on that for over a year.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, other business, Part D, Councillor Barnes.
Yeah, we've got in first part of March, I think it's the 2nd to the 4th, or 2nd to 3rd, 2 days, the Southern Alberta Library Conference. I would like permission to attend that and get a per diem for that. The mileage is being paid by the Chinook Arch. New legislation coming out. There has been stuff, and there's lots of kind of quandaries going on with how much is going to be supported in the future with the libraries and stuff, and they're going to be discussing those kind of things. And I feel like, as a member of our council and the kind of money that we're paying out for libraries, that I should be there to give my opinion on that. So it'd be 2 days per diem.
I thought we approved.
Okay.
So I guess this is a question just for Jeff for me. So can I make a motion to approve? Okay,
Recommendation.
so I would like to make a recommendation to approve. Councillor Barnes gets to go to this library convention
It's in Lethbridge.
March. Oh, it's in Lethbridge,
In
so it's not
Lethbridge,
even
yeah.
hotel costs.
They've already booked me in for 2 days at the hotel. They're
Oh.
paying for that.
Oh,
So it's
so
just
it's
per diem.
solely
diem.
per diem.
Just per diem,
So
that's
to
all.
be paid his per diem for the
For those 2 days. I'll get the dates on
Perfect.
it, but it's for those 2 dates.
All in favor of that resolution?
Thank you.
Any other questions? There's correspondence from the Jim and Mary Curl Library requisition. We don't need any action or update. It's just information that I believe, county was looking for. And now we have that information as well. Is that correct?
What that was is they weren't considering that county contribution.
Oh, right, $10,000. That's right. Okay. So that extra, the 10,000 that the county is kicking in has been now added to that budget. Okay, sounds good.
It's March 5th and 6th.
Okay.
Yep.
If there's nothing else, we will make a motion, we'll accept a motion going to confidential items. And I don't think we have anything after that, so you guys can,
Wonderful.
I was going to tell them to get packed up, I don't think that after, but yeah. Confidential items, moving into that session. All in favor? Councillor Brown. Thank you to the media. You may go home and have supper.